Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode on FCRB TV. And as promised, we're gonna do our highly anticipated MLS preview as the season starts tomorrow. Um, a full slate of matches are on tap for all MLS fans and supporters to get ready for it tomorrow. But I just wanted to give my 2 cents on what's to expect. There's been a lot of talk about Atlanta United. LAFC is going to have their inaugural season. They talk about can Toronto FC become a dominant force in the league and continue to win titles and things like that. There have been some transfers that caught my attention. A big one was Sasha Kljestan has gone to Orlando City, and I felt that Sasha was a player that Red Bulls would not want to let go. He was their captain and it was their playmaker, creating chances for BWP up front, and now he's gone. But I mean, just the season before that, they let Dax McCarty go to Chicago. So apparently, there's not too much loyalty going on there at New York Red Bull. But I tell you what, it's a great pickup for Orlando City because Kaka has retired, so they need a new playmaker to fill the void and start to create chances for Dom Dwyer and those guys up front at Orlando City. So that was a big one, and another one that caught my attention was the wide player Assad that was at Atlanta United. He went to DC, and they did that to create space for one of the new Argentinian lads that they've brought in Atlanta. And I think that new lad is going to be good. I forgot what his name is, like Baraka or something like that. Yeah, but he's a good wide player, attacking player. He'll be good for them. But Assad was a good player as well. And what they had going on last in their inaugural season, Atlanta United, it was phenomenal to see. The new stadium, the style of football that Tata Martino was playing. With those guys running forward quickly in the counter. Almiron, pulling the strings, things of that nature. They were doing really well. So I understand why they let him go, but I don't know if I were in Carlos Bocanegra's shoes, would I have gone on with that deal, because I really liked Assad there at Atlanta. But so there a few things have been talked about in the preseason. Alexi Lalas has got his thing going on, his podcast, and he was talking about he believes that the MLS should not have international spots restrictions. That in essence, an MLS team can have all foreigners if they wanted, and I think that's absolute suicide. To connect the men's national team to MLS, you cannot do something like that, because whether the MLS clubs want to accept this responsibility or not, part of their job is to create, build, make good enough footballers who can go to the national team and be successful. That's part of their job. It's not just making money. It's not just trying to win a championship or whatever. It's about those things, as well as having homegrown players, American lads who can break into the national team and possibly garner attention from clubs in Europe and move over there and continue to get better. So if you were to have that, for example, if they went along with what Alexi has recommended or agreed to or thought was a good idea, Atlanta United would not have any Americans on it. Tata Martino would pick all South American lads And what good is that for the U.S. national team? You cannot do that, you know. So I think that is just crazy to think. Um, and I mean, Montreal Impact would probably do the same. Toronto may do the same. So I mean, you wouldn't want to do that. We want the foreign lads to come, of course, but you've got to there's got to be some control with that. And I think the way the MLS has it right now, it is good. We've got the foreign flavor, adding different aspects to each team, and then you've got the American lads who are doing their part too, and putting it all together to make decent squads. So you've got to give the American boys a chance and say, look at England. They even have a ruling where you have to have X amount of English lads in the 22 in the first team. But I mean, the other night Chelsea played Barcelona, and Chelsea had no English lads start the game. No English lads. And then you wonder why England, the senior team, they haven't won anything, internationally. You've got to try to give your young lads an opportunity. So we wouldn't want that in MLS where, you can have as many foreigners as you want in the squad, and then all of a sudden you've got a starting 11 of all foreigners, no American lads, and then the young guys aren't getting a chance. We're not getting a chance to develop up, the young guys who can possibly be the future of the U.S. men's national team. I think that MLS has to take that responsibility on, as well as all the other things that they are interested in. So that's a bad idea. We also talked about, I think, Toronto's in the CONCACAF Champions League against Tigres, which is going to be a fantastic two-legged tie there. I believe it's the quarterfinals. Yeah, so that's going to be real interesting. I don't know how that's going to go. I would obviously give the edge to Tigres. They've got some big players over there. Gignac, the center forward, the French international center forward, is over there. They've got, obviously a slew of Mexican internationals as well. So they've got a good side. Should be interesting to see how that turns out. But, with LAFC coming in, Atlanta United, their second year in the league. I don't know what Minnesota's going to do. I saw a couple interviews with Manny Lagos about their plans to get the right guys in to be a bit more MLS ready and to be more of a threat in the league. I hope they can get that sorted. But what I really wanted to get at is, as we start the league tomorrow, there's a certain style of play that succeeds in MLS. And some were asking the question, can Atlanta United win the league in the next 3 years or something like that? 2 to 4 years, something like that. And teams like Atlanta United, for me, teams like Atlanta United, FC Dallas, I would say that's about it. Those two teams there play a very creative, a lot of flair, a lot of possession ball on the floor, none of an incredibly physical style of play. And because of that, when playoff comes around, it gets cold. They're getting battered and smashed by people like Colorado, and it just doesn't work out. So I would bet against Atlanta United winning the league in the next 2 to 4 years because their style of play is beautiful to watch. I prefer it. I think Tata is doing a great job in MLS, but I do not think when it gets cold, it becomes October, November. Look how they lost last playoffs to Columbus. Columbus came in, they clogged up space, they blocked it off, they had some luck on their side, and they wore them down to penalties and stole the game in Atlanta. And I think that the playoffs are just really hard, and MLS is a very physical league. You've got to be fit. You've got to run. I mean, that's why Toronto won the league last year, because they grind you out. They grinded out Seattle in the final. Seattle couldn't get anywhere. You know what I mean? And Seattle, and again, Seattle, they have the perfect blend of the technique and creativity with Ladero and my man Dempsey, and they've got one more lad over there too, don't they? Oh yeah, the Roldan. Roldan is a good player too. So those guys in there, but then they also have Alonso. They've got Ramirez, the Panamanian in the back. So they have a nice balance where they can really mix it up and then get forward and create. But in that final against Toronto, Toronto was just too much. Toronto has a perfect balance of it too. They'll grind you out. They'll block off space. They'll get into you, tackle, and they've got guys. I mean, with Javinko going forward, I mean that's all you need to get a free kick, and they'll win 1-0, and they won't concede any real chances. So if you look at the last two champions and see how their teams are set up, Atlanta doesn't have enough steel to get that done, and I don't think Tata will go all the way to create a team that has steel like that. And then you look at Dallas, another club that I like a lot. I flew out to Portland last summer to watch Portland take on to host FC Dallas, and it was a bit tough because it was international duty, so I missed out on Darlington Nagbe, Kellen Acosta, and one more lad was gone. Oh, Matt Hedges, I think, was gone too. Matt Hedges was gone with the national team. So, yeah, that's when they had to play Mexico, and they drew 1-1. Yeah, so that's what happened. But FC Dallas, they try to play football the right way. They want to combine. Their right back is dope. Another Argentinian dude, Ghana is his name, something like that. But they play good football, but when it comes down to playoffs, they get grinded out by people like Colorado, Real Salt Lake. They play a bit too, but they have more steel than Dallas. I think that the technical game doesn't really flourish in MLS. It's just it's too painstaking because these other clubs. I mean, look why New York never wins it. The Red Bulls, they never win it. They never win it because they've got guys who want to play. Sasha Klesher was over there, doing his little techers over there, and they get found out. And I totally forgot about my man Patrick Vieira and New York City with David Villa and all those guys. They're not winning the league either. They got a great team, but Atlanta, New York City, FC Dallas, Red Bull. They're all cut from the same cloth. They want to play. They want to entertain. They want to find triangles, combine, pass and move, create good goals. But come playoff, they're gonna get stymied, and that's what Toronto did to them too. They just shut it down. They'll shut you down, hit you on the counter, and then they got Javinko coming for you. You know what I mean? So it's tough, man. It's tough, but that's how I see it. I don't see. I mean, each playoff season, I'm rooting for those teams to get to the finals and win it for the sake of the beautiful game. But it's just too hard in MLS. I don't see them any of those teams really getting it done. They play the better football, but in America, you've got to be real tough, and it's cold too. It's not going to happen for those guys. I don't see it. But I tell you what, though, you talk about the players you want to watch in the season. You've got the Trident down in Atlanta with they've got Darlington Nagbe now. That's another massive trade that took place. I don't know why Portland let him go, but he's down in Atlanta. So you've got Almiron, Nagbe, Martinez up front, and then Villalba. Villalba's dope, bro. I love Villalba, and he's perfect for MLS. Perfect for MLS because he's got techers, but he's got a massive engine, and he loves to run. So that crew down there, Atlanta, is the spot, man. Those guys, I really wish they could win it, but I'm sorry, dogs. I don't think you guys can do it unless you guys get some steel in the back, shut it down, then you guys will be in there, but I don't know. But those guys there in Atlanta, I think the best player in the league is not Jovinko. Jovinko is right there. Jovinko is A1, but the A player, the number one guy for me is Ignacio Piatti at Montreal Impact. The dude's dope. He's kind of like Del Piero, where he's that 10 where he's not super fast, he's not super strong. So you see all of his technique as he's getting by people, as he's using his technique to cajole and beat people. And I think that's the beauty of the game right there, when you can see a player do that. So for me, Piatti's dope. Always rooting for Montreal as well to do well because of players like that in their side. I like their idea of how they want to go about it over there. Obviously, you've got the guys in New York City with David Villa. Jack Harrison has gone off to Stoke, I believe. So he's gone, but he was a nice little lad to watch there. And, Patrick Vieira is gunner captain. Once a gunner, always a gunner. So I'm always rooting for him as well. And he's got his guys playing well there as well. So that's a good side to watch. Another player that obviously you go out west and you look at people like Nicholas Ladero. To think that we have Nicholas Ladero in our league, Ladero, Jovinko, Piatti, Almiron, that's top level right there for us. That's awesome to be able to, each week we go out, we can turn on the tube or go to the match and see those guys play. It's awesome. And then let's not forget the lad at Portland as well. What's my man's name? The number 8, man. The playmaker over there. Diego Valeri. Dope. Another baller. So I don't know if Portland will make a run to win it this year or to get to the final because they let Nagby go. So I don't know, but they've got a nice little squad there as well. And again, Giovanni Savarese is the new manager there because they've parted ways with Caleb Porter. And I think it's not necessarily Caleb wasn't good enough. It's just they want to go in a new direction and try something else. Savarese is going to get his chance, so that'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. But Diego Valeri is a baller. Portland again, they have a nice balance, and that's why they got the chip a couple years ago as well. Goalkeeping wise, you've got Bono there at Toronto FC, the Syracuse boy. So everybody around here is loving his success and much deserved. The guy works hard. He's a great goalkeeper. And then for me, it's him and Zach Steffen at Columbus. Zach Steffen is top level. If I was Atlanta, I would trade Guzan for Zach Steffen. Straight swap, mate. Let's get him over here to Atlanta so we can try to solidify that back line. So, touched on the goalkeepers a bit. Is there anybody else? Any goalkeepers? No. Can't think of anybody else. Those are the two best goalkeepers in the league, in my opinion. That LAFC, they've got a former gunner as well. Carlos Vela is going to be there. He's their one of their big marquee signings for this season. So hopefully he does well as well, and see how that goes for him. Another big talking point is Zlatan is supposed to be coming to LA Galaxy. Now, I think if Zlatan came to MLS right after PSG and never went to United, I think that would have been a good move for MLS. Still a decent move for MLS, but it would have been a good move for him at that time. But now, after coming back from his Flamingo knee that he got at Man United, and he's trying to work himself back into fitness, and he's almost 40, ain't he? He's old as dirt, and MLS is no joke. And because he is who he is, he's gonna have a target on his back. And these guys in MLS, don't sleep on these dudes. They love to run hard and get stuck in. So I'm telling you right now, Zlatan comes to LA Galaxy, it's not gonna be a walk in the park for him. Dudes are gonna come trying to smash him up. And he's old. It's not Zlatan when he was at Milan. You know what I mean? This is Zlatan who is coming back from Flamingo knee at Man United. So I don't know how great that's going to be. Obviously, he'll sell tickets. He'll sell shirts. He'll give some quotes that people are going to go mad for. But performance-wise, I do not know how that's going to turn out. And staying in LA, they've got my man Alessandrini over there, one of their playmakers, and I think he's another great player to watch. So I think it's just awesome that the MLS is growing. I think we need to stop with the expansion teams though. After LA, I know they're coming out with some other teams, but with LAFC, that should be it, because we still want to have quality in the league. You know what I'm saying? We still want to have quality and good matchups and good teams. You don't want to dilute it with so many teams, and then the talent is spread out all over, and it's just not good enough. You know what I'm saying? So it's nice to see the league has grown since the last time I was in it. I didn't really talk about my former club, New England. We've got Brad Friedel as the manager now. My former teammate was released at the end of the season, or just before the end. Jay Heaps, he took him to a final. That's a good run in his managerial career. And now it's going to be Brad Friedel's turn. I'm really interested to see how that goes. I don't know if we picked up anybody really. So, the roster, I'm not really big on it. But, always kind of hope that they do all right. But we'll see what Brad has in store for the guys. But it's nice to see the league it's solidified itself. It's something for all these young kids to look up to and to watch and follow, and you can grow up supporting the team in around your area now, which is awesome. I mean, with the kids that I work with in my club, I tell them to watch the MLS games as well. And you see what's good, what's not good, and it's just cool to have your own league, and it's not top 5 in the world, as Alexi tries to say, or top 10, but it's our league and it's coming along, and it's nice. So I'll be watching the games, of course, this weekend and throughout the season. But it should be interesting, I'm trying to think what else I could cover. It's going to be good stuff. Early predictions. I would love to see an Eastern Conference final between New York City and Atlanta United. And in the West, I'd love to see Real Salt Lake versus FC Dallas. But, I will not get any of those teams in there. Why? Because it's going to be cold. And those teams who like to defend, they have something to say about it. So we'll see. I think it would be great if we could get that. But and in the final, out of those 4, a dream final would be the final before the final would be Atlanta and New York City. But somebody's got to lose, somebody's got to win to go to the final. So I would say FC Dallas versus Atlanta. That would, if we get that final, I will be there live. Yes, sir. And the final will be like in Atlanta. In that new stadium. What? Are you saying Hotlanta? What? Yeah, that would be the ideal final for MLS. Ideal. FC Dallas versus Atlanta United. But we got a long way to go. A long way. And we'll be talking about it, periodically as it goes along. And I'm really excited. It's cool. And you guys should watch. Make sure you tune in. You guys, you Eurocats, give us a chance. If you ain't got nothing to do that night, turn on the tube, watch it. But So as I said, this is the second of my 3 in a row. So tomorrow I'll be back with VAR, a little session on VAR and what I think of it. And we'll go from there. But you all enjoy yourselves. Watch all the games tomorrow. Tons of games. Big games in Italy. Big games in England. Big games in MLS. So check it out. If you enjoy the talk, footy talk, subscribe at the bottom. All right. You guys take care. Ciao.